What's going on? Welcome to episode 3 of the Goody Room. And today's episode is brought to you by Direct Asset. And we have an interesting topic to talk about today for a little bit. And I drew it down here in regards to the topic we're talking about. It's called equality. All right. So if you can see it, there's a track meet here, right? There's 3 women and there's 3 men. Each have their own lane. In the women's lane, they have all these obstacles here of like chores, laundry, taking care of kids, so on and so forth. All things you do in a house primarily. And they're all going after a career, their career. Now, the women have all these things to go through before they get to their career, which is interesting, I thought. And the men's have a very clear shot. And then there's like paradise up here where I guess they met, you know, their financial goal or whatever the case is, and they're living in luxury, whatever. So the interesting part I thought was about this is that still the same thing today? Now, before you answer, let me throw a couple things out there, all right? And this can be in regard to a relationship or a marriage, doesn't matter. But there's a couple key pointers I want to put out. Now, this takes place from back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even up to the 90s, where equal rights and things for women were coming into play, where women can do the same as men, type of deal, right? So before that, they were housewives, is what they called them. So the male would go to work, whatever, he'd come back, he'd eat dinner. The women would prepare all the food, do the chores, take care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. You know that story already. Now, in today's world, what I want to know is that mindset still the same? That's the first thing. The second part of that is, if you ask 80% of males, would you, if your wife's significant other, whatever, let's say, if it costed 80 grand a year to maintain the house for bills, and all right, let's say she made 80 grand a year and she could take care of the house, still get extra spending money, whatever it is, just like that, would you be opposed to her going and being the breadwinner, going to work and whatever, and you taking care of the kids at home, doing the laundry, the dishes, so on and so forth? As rare as that is, a lot of men would say, oh yeah, I'll quit my job today. And the other thing with that is that women feel they can do the man's job, and men feel they can do the women's job. But when they both come to that term of, oh, well, you wouldn't last a day in my shoes, that's the funny part about it, is because they both want the opposite. They both think the same thing in regard to you can't do this and you can't do this, but they both want that. As rare as that is in today's world, that situation happens. My question is, how common is that? Is it still in regard to the mindset of, hey, women subconsciously, when they move in a home, when they get an apartment together, whatever, when they're married, even in the beginning of their relationship, I was thinking subconsciously, they just, oh, let me do this for him. Let me make stuff. Let me go wash this. Let me do this. Let me do that. Some people are taught that way. Some people, I think maybe it's subconsciously, they just do it without thinking about it. Or maybe a lot of relationships and people today want equality in their relationship, meaning the male can still go to work. The male can take care of that side of his responsibility, but when you come back from work on your days off, help me here at the house. Maybe she goes to work too on top of doing all this stuff, which is where the equality may come into play. I don't know that. I'm just saying, is that more common, that equality and shared responsibility is adamant, that is something to be done in today's relationships? Or is it the other way around, where the male says that I just want it to be this way, and then that's the way it's going to be. So that's basically my question in regards to, if you talk with your significant other or your wife, what may have you, is that something that is possible now that they have more opportunities to be successful? They can go to school. Now they don't always get paid as much as the male, but I think it's more of a bigger possibility that they have the opportunity to do so. And most people that I talk to in regards to males, they're highly in favor of that. So, in regards to the possibilities of 2020, since we figured out anything is possible, is that something that you would look into doing for 2021 or in the very near future? That's the question. Either A, this mindset still exists and it works, or it doesn't work and people like equal opportunity and shared responsibilities, or C, they would love to have it the other way, and if that would be the change that would be both favorable of the woman and the male, is that going to be something that's looked at in 2021? Let me know. I'd like to hear your responses. I like intellectual conversations if you want to talk about it. And a lot of people may have different answers, but what is the common person or people in a relationship? What are they going for today? That's what I'd like to know. So maybe you guys might know, maybe you have a good idea of, what works for you may not work for someone else, but the common man and woman in the household or living together or relationship, what are they looked at in regards to responsibility wise? So that's all I had to say. I like the idea of it. I think it would be great, as rare as it is, because I can sit here and drink my hot coffee. I can listen to the birds. I can choose when I want to go wash something, I think it would be fantastic. So let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for the next episode.